South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Hi, I'm Kurt Angle. I represented the United States in the Olympics in 1996 and won a gold medal. Then I parlayed that into a pro wrestling career. I saw a commercial a few years ago.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation made a promise.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is paying off the mortgages for Gold Star families with young children. I thought, this is really cool. I want to be a part of it. My dad served in the Army for 30 years. We didn't have a lot of money, but he made sure we had what we needed. He set a great example for all of us. He died in a construction accident my freshman year in high school. When he died, we didn't have any income coming in, and we ended up being forced to move out of our house. I was devastated. So I understand what these families are going through, and to have an organization like Tunnel to Towers come in and pick you up and carry you and give you a home to live in, I think that's just amazing. I'd like to ask you to donate $11 a month to support these efforts by going to t2t.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this Wednesday as we begin another week of looking at the great sport of kings, Las Vegas style, from Las Vegas, Nevada, here at our studio station at the South Point Studios at the South Point Hotel Casino Complex on Las Vegas Boulevard in Las Vegas, and of course at the South Point Studios streaming network at YouTube. We welcome you to the show as we begin another week looking at some great racing coming up this week, that's for sure. We also want to welcome all of our listeners that are listening here in town at our local radio station here, our anchor radio station here in Las Vegas, Sports Talk 1400 AM and 107.1 FM. And, of course, all of our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, .global, iPhone, Android, and Google. We're covered with the apps. You can get the KSHP app on your devices so you can hear us through the radio station. And, of course, the YouTube app on your devices so you can see and hear us on your devices as well. And, of course, anywhere you get your podcasting. Simply put, however, wherever, whenever, welcome to the Race Day Show for this Wednesday. All right, we begin this week with looking at the weather, and it's finally getting to be towards springtime now because we're in the last days of February. We're going to flip the page by the end of the week, and we'll be into the month of March. And, of course, that's when all of the Kentucky Derby prep races start to gear up with, the bigger points values to the Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks prep races. But as far as the weather is concerned, here in Las Vegas, 56 degrees out right now. We're going to get up to 75, and that's going to be the parameters, the space in between the lows and the highs for just about the rest of the week here in Las Vegas. It looks like it's going to be sunny and beautiful here, just in case you want to make some plans to come up and join us over the weekend here in your gaming capital. The weather is going to be just like that, in the 50s in the morning, mid-50s, etc., and in the 70s in the afternoon with plenty of sunshine. As far as the rest of the country is concerned, temperatures look like this: 76 degrees in Miami. New York City starting to thaw out a little. It's got 56 degrees there. Chicago, 47, and a little bit of rain going on there. Kansas City, 62. Phoenix, Arizona is going to be 89 today. 89 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona. 82 in Southern California as well. But no racing in Southern California. As far as Phoenix, Arizona, yeah, they're racing there. And I can tell you this, that in Phoenix, Arizona, the highest payoff of the day happened yesterday at Turf Paradise. Their pick five, a 50-cent pick five at Turf Paradise, $69,571.80. And the pick four of those five, that was also high at $7,348.75. That's pretty high for Turf Paradise in Phoenix, Arizona. But their weather is going to be just fine, as well as the rest of the country. As far as any precipitation is concerned, it's going to center right around Illinois and, Oklahoma, etc. I'm sorry, Illinois and Ohio. Illinois and Ohio and part of the Great Lakes area. That's where most of the precipitation is at. And the rest of the country, clear as a bell Pacific Coast, clear as a bell on the East Coast, and even in your Gulf of America. It's all clear and fine today. So we're going to have some good racing today, but we're ramping it up for the weekend because we're going to have a big weekend coming up for the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks prep races. There'll be 3 Kentucky Derby prep races worth 50 points in the leaderboard and 3 Kentucky Oaks races for 50 points there for the Kentucky Oaks leaderboard. Now, of course, the big racing is really this weekend centers on coast to coast. Southern California at Santa Anita and on the East Coast and the Southeast at Gulfstream Park. Those 2 racetracks are going to have monster cards coming up. As far as Gulfstream Park is concerned, they're going to have 9 stakes races there at Gulfstream Park. 4 Grade 2s, 4 Grade 3s. Santa Anita is going to have 4 stakes races, but they're going to be 2 Grade 1s and 2 Grade 2s. And, of course, Saturday is Big Cap Day at Santa Anita, the most traditional of all the handicap races left in America. The Big Cap will have its renewal on Saturday. That'll be one of the grade ones. The other one will be the San Felipe, which is a prep race for the Santa Anita Derby, which of course all of those are prep races for the Kentucky Derby. The San Felipe will have 50 Kentucky Derby points to it, and of course on Sunday at Santa Anita, the Santa Isabel, a grade 3, will have 50 Oaks points for that. As far as Gulfstream Park is concerned, 9 stakes races, 4 grade 2s, 4 grade 3s. Amongst them will be the Fountain of Youth, part of the Florida Derby Series, and of course the Kentucky Derby Preps. Fountain of Youth will have 50 points for the Kentucky Derby leaderboard, and the Devonna Dale, that'll have 50 points for the Kentucky Oaks leaderboard. So a lot going on as far as the March to the first Friday and Saturday in May for the Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby around the country. As far as some of the stakes, and by the way, the Gotham Stakes at Aqueduct, the Gotham will also have 50 points for the Kentucky Derby Future Book. And the Busher, which is held at Aqueduct, will have 50 points for the Oaks. So we want to remind you that you have, Derby points and Oaks points on the big stakes races on Saturday, both at Aqueduct, Gulfstream, and Santa Anita. As far as the those races, they have drawn for them. The Gotham got 10 in it. The Fountain of Youth will have 8 starting in it. The San Felipe will have 6. 3 in the 6 on the San Felipe will be trained by Bob Baffert. The Busher has 9. The Devonna Dale will have 7. And the Santa Isabel, which will be on Sunday at Santa Anita, that will have 6 in it. That includes Maysam. Maysam, of course, ran just a couple of weeks ago in a dull effort as the odds-on favorite at Sunland Park in the Sunland Oaks, but that one returns in the Santa Isabel on Sunday at Santa Anita. And the Santa Anita Handicap, the Big Cap, has 9 in it. So we're getting ready for a big, big weekend. Looking to this past weekend, the Rebel Stakes winner, Cole Battle. This horse was a $70,000 Texas yearling sale purchase. He's had his 4th stakes victory in a row. He's 5 for 5 on the dirt, trained by Lonnie Braley. And the next stop, he said, if the horse tells him so, and he's going to wait and see how the horse recovers, will be the Arkansas Derby, and that'll be on the 29th of March. Other horses on the Kentucky Derby Trail, First Resort is off the Kentucky Derby Trail now. He suffered a stress fracture in his left hind ankle. So First Resort, that was scratched over the weekend, First Resort is off the Derby Trail with a fracture in his left hind ankle. And as far as a horse called Owen Almighty, remember Owen Almighty? His next start will be in the Tampa Bay Derby on the 8th of March. And the big winner in Saudi Arabia, Straight No Chaser, winning that big sprint race there. He has moved on to Dubai. He has settled down in Dubai at Meydan Racecourse. His next stop will be the $2 million Golden Sheehan. The Golden Sheehan, that's part of the big racing card on the Dubai World Cup Day, and that'll be at Meydan Racecourse on the 5th of April. So those are the latest on all of the other horses. But coming up this weekend, some interesting horses that will be back in competition. Mindframe is going to go in a race in the Gulfstream Mile. Mindframe goes in the Gulfstream Mile. He's returning to the races at Gulfstream Park. Neat. You remember all the great races Neat had last year on the East Coast. Well, she's going to the West Coast, and she's going to be in the Kilroe Mile coming up at Santa Anita on Saturday. Locked. You remember him. We've been all waiting for Locked to return. Remember, he bowed out of his last expected start, but he's going in the Santa Anita Handicap coming up on Saturday. And Barnes, that super 3-year-old that Bob Baffert has, Barnes will be part of the 3 horses in the San Felipe on Saturday. So a lot of good stuff happening, that's for sure. Let's take a look at what happened, especially on Sunday at Oaklawn Park. We haven't been with you since Sunday's show. Oaklawn Park had that big racing day that featured the Rebel Stakes. And, of course, you already know about the Rebel winner. The Rebel winner was Cole Battle, his 4th stakes win in a row, and, of course, trained by Lonnie Braley, I should say. Lonnie Braley is the trainer. He's living large. I mean, here's a horse that you paid $70,000 for in a Texas yearling sale, and now he's one of the contenders for the Kentucky Derby. And Braley said he's going to wait and see how this horse comes out of the race. But if he comes out in good shape, his next start will be in the Arkansas Derby there at Oaklawn Park. Cole Battle took the lead at the top of the stretch and then went on to win under Juan Vargas. He got 50 Kentucky Derby points there, so he's part of the leaderboard now. Matticat Road was second. Sandman finished third in the race. Sandman closed, but it was way too late. And, of course, the Baffert trainee, Matticat Road, finished second. Cole Battle paid $25.80 for the win. And as far as other things that happened on Sunday at Oaklawn Park, Jose Ortiz had his first win of the day with Steve Asmussen in the first race, paying $6 even. Came back in for his second win of the day in the Carousel Stakes with Justique, who paid $4.20 for Sherry DeVoe. And then, of course, Ortiz had his next, I should say that was Jose Ortiz. Now, remember, two brothers, Jose Ortiz. Irad had his first win of the day on the Bob Baffert trainee Cornucopian. Remember, we were talking about Cornucopian. That was the $1.1 million purchase for Bob Baffert, sending that horse out in the maiden race. And boy, did he have a maiden win there at Oaklawn Park. He ran the 6 furlongs in 109.02 seconds, winning easily, owned by a group that they call the Avengers. The Avengers got another top horse there in Cornucopian. That was a nice winner in the fifth race at Oaklawn Park on Sunday. Jose came back for his third win on Lambeth. Lambeth was, of course, a pick here on the show from John Lindo. Lambeth was bet down from 10-1 on the morning line. He won the race and paid $5.80. He was a hot horse in the sixth race there. Joe Sharp, Jose Ortiz. John Lindo's pick wins in the sixth at Oaklawn. Tyler Gaffleone had a couple of wins. He won his first race in the seventh race for Greg Compton at $9 even. Irad Ortizo came back in and got his second win of the day in the Travista Stakes with Bruno Boni for Brent Calhoun paying $12.40. And then in the Honeybee Stakes, this race was 50 points for the Kentucky Oaks. The Honeybee Stakes won by Quiet Side, giving Jose Ortiz his fourth win of the day for trainer John Ortiz, paying $22.40. And then, of course, the Razorback was won by Alexander Helios. Tyler Gaffleone's second win of the day for Safi Joseph Jr., paying $18 even there. And it was a big day of racing at Oaklawn Park on Sunday. The late pick 5 at Oaklawn Park on Sunday paid $36,666.65. Aqueduct on Sunday, the Broadway Stakes won by Landed with Frankie Pennington aboard for Wesley Ward, paying $7.80. Manny Franco had 4 wins on the day. Franco won his first winner in the third race, paying $4.50 for Greg Weaver. Came back in the fourth for paying $5.90, and then came back in the fifth, winning 3 races in a row, paying $3.90 for Chad Brown, and won his fourth race in the last for Michelle Nevin at $16.80. Jose Lisicano checked in with a win there for Linda Rice. Linda Rice's second win of the day in the sixth race, paying $7.70. Her first win of the day came in the second race with Kendrick Carmouche, who won the early double. That was $3.50. Carmouche won the first race for Todd Plesher, paying $6.60. Nobody had the pick 6 on Sunday at Aqueduct. The 5s paid $180, so you got to carry over in the pick 6 at Aqueduct for Thursday. Gulfstream Park, Edgard Zayas had a couple of wins. On Sunday at Gulfstream Park. He won the first race for Safi Joseph Jr. at $6 even, came back in the sixth race at $18 for Eddie Plesa Jr. Other jockeys that had multiple wins was Romero Marat, who won the second race for Mark Cassie at $30.40. And then Marat came back to win the fifth race for Colin Marat, paying $14.60. And let's see, Jose Junior Alvarado had a couple of wins on Sunday. Third race for Phil Antonici, paying $10.40, and then came back in the seventh race for Bill Mott, paying $11.40. And so those jocks and Luis Saez had a couple of winners. So you had Zayas, Marat, Alvarado, and Luis Saez all winning 2 races apiece at Gulfstream. Luis Saez were back-to-back. He won the 8th race, $14 even for Bobby DeBona, and the 9th race for Danny Gargan, paying $5.40. And finally, at Santa Anita on Sunday, Richard Eng gave us a winner in the 4th race. Doug O'Neill's Special Flower reported home a winner, with Frankie Dettori getting his first win of several on Sunday at Santa Anita. That horse paid $3.20, bet down from 2-1. And then, of course, Armando Ayuso had back-to-back wins. He won the 5th race at $17 for Dan Blacker, and the 6th race for Luis Mendez, paying $9.20. Frankie Dettori's second win of the day came in the 7th race at $5.60 for George Papapadromo, and the pick 6 at Santa Anita on Sunday paid $98,895.60. Well, that's what happened on Sunday, but we got a big week of racing coming up. On today's show, Jonathan Hardoon will not be with us. He has a conflicting appointment that he needs to get to, but he gave us his picks. Jonathan Hardoon left of his picks. He's got a pick at Tampa and a pick at Gulfstream Park. Of course, if it's a Wednesday, it's time to go to Dwayne Carlucci from the Rampart. He'll be with us as well. John Linda will be with us earlier on the show, because I want to go over some of the big races that are happening at Santa Anita and Gulfstream with John Lindo this weekend. He'll be with us, and of course, Rich Eng and Jerry Jackowitz. And your racing menu. We got a lot to do, so we're going to go to our first break, and when we come back, we're getting started. Don't go away.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Back on Race Day Las Vegas. Before we get to the racing menu for today, taking a look at the National Thoroughbred Racing Associations, the NTRA national poll, top 3-year-old poll looks like this. Citizen Bull is on top. Barnes is second. Cole Battle moved up to third in the NTRA national poll. Burnham Square is fourth. Disco Time is fifth. And then John Hancock, Journalism, who will be going this weekend in one of the big prep races, is seventh. Captain Cook is eighth. And Good Cheer and Getaway Car round out the top 10 there. As far as the handicap horses are concerned, and of course we're looking at the big cap coming up on Saturday, White Abarrio is on top. Torpedo Anna is second. Sierra Leone is third. Straight No Chaser, the sprinter, moved up to fourth in the NTRA Thoroughbred poll. Locked is fifth. He'll go this weekend. Fierceness, we're still waiting for his start. Spirit of St. Louis, Forever Young, moved into the top 10. He's number 8 after that big win in Saudi Arabia. Hall of Fame is 9th. And Skippy Longstocking round out the NTRA poll for the big handicap division horses. And now we'll get started with our racing menu for today, reminding you, as we always do, the first post times we broadcast on the show each and every day reflect that of the Pacific time zone. If you're here in Las Vegas in the Pacific time zone, these will be the first post times that roll out in the racebook here behind us here at the South Point today. If you're not in the Pacific time zone, adjust to it so you don't miss anything like I miss Mom and Dad, okay? We begin with Parks Racing. Parks Racing has 10 races today. And Parks Racing, first post time for Parks, if I can get this thing here. Yeah, first post time of Parks Racing is set at 9:05 for 10 races. Their Pick 5 Jackpot carryover, $11,124 at Parks today. First post time is 9:05. They hit that big Pick 5 carryover the other day. Mahoning Valley Racecourse is next. Mahoning Valley Racecourse has a pick six jackpot carryover of $5,258. 10 races at Mahoning Valley. First post time is at 9:15. Then we get to Tampa Bay Downs. Tampa Bay Downs, they're off the turf today at Tampa Bay. I want you to know that. They're off the turf today at Tampa Bay. They have a pick six carryover of $1,474 at Tampa Bay. And again, they're off the turf at Tampa Bay. And that will be the fifth race on the card, and the seventh race on the card, and the ninth race. So the fifth, seventh, and ninth are off the turf today at Tampa Bay. 9 races. First post time is at 9:40. Gulfstream Park is next. Their pick six rainbow jackpot carryover is starting to build again. It's at $221,511 for today. 9 races at Gulfstream. First post time is at 9:50. Then we go to Turf Paradise in Phoenix, Arizona, where they had that big payoff yesterday. They got 9 races at Turf Paradise. The first 2 are quarter horse races. The last 7 are thoroughbreds. Turf Paradise has a pick six jackpot carryover of $15,046 at Turf Paradise today. And their first post time is set at 11:55 for their 9-race card. Then we go to Turfway Park. Turfway Park has a couple of carryovers. Their carryover in the Super High 5 there, $3,160. They got a pick six jackpot carryover of $57,915. They got 10 races and full fields at Turfway. First post time is at 2:55. And then we wind it up at Charlestown races. Pick six jackpot carryover there, $15,584. 8 races at Charlestown and a first post time of 4 p.m. And that is your racing menu for today. Well, Jonathan Ardoon is not with us today, but I've got John Lendo standing by right at the top of the show. John, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. Hey, one update for your race schedule today. You mentioned Tampa Bay off the turf, but Gulfstream Park is also off the turf today.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for that. I guess they had some rain that went through Florida. It looked like it was pretty clear, but I guess the damage was already done. So at Gulfstream Park now, take the second race, the fifth race, and the ninth race off the turf. Second, fifth, and ninth are off the turf. Now, Jonathan Hardoon left us some picks for the races today, and he when he found out that they were off the turf, he did call in and say keep his picks on, whether they're on the turf or off. So we'll do that a little bit later on, but both the Florida tracks off the turf today. Well, what about the Rebel Stakes over the weekend? Cold Battle. It's nice to see a little guy getting a big shot, huh?
Boy, how about Juan Vargas and Briley, the trainer, running down Bob Baffert in the stretch. You better keep that picture. That's pretty cool. And you see this horse, and what a wonderful ride by Juan Vargas. He let the speed go, was in front of the second pack, and moved at the right time. Didn't move too early. Just a terrific story with Cold Battle, and he's got enough points now. He's in the Derby if they want to go. It'll be interesting to see what happens between now and then. But, I think Bob Baffert was a big winner down there, too. He sent kind of his second stringer in Madacat Road for the Rebel, ran a solid second with that horse, and he ran Cornucopian, the first-time starter on the undercard. And I thought he was the best 3-year-old in the card, running 109 flat in his debut.
Well, I'm telling you, that was a monster move by that horse, and he did the same thing with this horse at Oaklawn Park as he did earlier with Barnes at Churchill Downs. So I guess he wanted to showcase some of his best 3-year-olds, maybe not the ones that have been running so far, but some of his best 3-year-olds in those 2 particular places. I know he likes Oaklawn Park. He's done very well there. And he wants to get back in the winner's circle for the first Saturday, May in the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs.
Well, it gives Baffert an idea of what he's got in his barn in California. You can use those horses as a measuring stick. And from a number standpoint, I think Cold Battle got a buyer speed figure of 91, and Cornucopian broke his maiden. He got a buyer speed figure of 101.
Well, we got a big weekend coming up coast to coast. Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita, 2 huge cards. We got horses that are not only running for Derby and Oaks leaderboard points, but also some of the races on the undercard. For example, the Gulfstream Mile will feature the return of Mindframe. And in the Kilroe Mile at Santa Anita, Neat comes to the West Coast to try her medal there on the West Coast in the Kilroe Mile. And, of course, Locked is coming for the Big Cap, also at Santa Anita. And, of course, Barnes, as we were talking about, in the San Felipe, where, of course, Bob Baffert has that thing surrounded. He's got 50% of the entrants. There's 6 in that race, and he's got 3 of them.
Absolutely. And, it's an important race, the San Felipe, for not only Barnes, who tries 2 turns for the first time. Obviously, he's been the buzz horse, a $3.2 million purchase, and he's been impressive in both of his sprints. I think he'll get a middle distance like the mile and the 16th San Felipe, but I want to see something that's going to tell me he's going to go farther than that down the line. Right now, I don't know if he's really going to be a mile and a quarter horse. You've got his stablemate, Rodriguez, who got a nice schooling session in his last start where he kind of got shuffled back down the backside and made a second run at Citizen Bull and ran second. And then you got Journalism, who is a true route horse for Michael McCarthy. But he's coming. He got sick. If you look at his work pattern, he missed some works between early December and the middle of January. So he might be playing a little bit of catch-up right now. I got to think maybe he needs this race. But either way, I want to see where he is at this point because I think he's a really top 3-year-old.
Well, looking at the Fountain of Youth down there in Florida, that, of course, is the last prep before the Florida Derby. And, of course, they're all races prepping for the Kentucky Derby. It's got 50 leaderboard points to it. And you got a field of 8 in that race. And, of course, no real big standouts. Of course, Sovereignty returns for Bill Mott and Junior Alvarado. That horse is going to test his mettle. And Burnham Square also in the race as well. So we got some horses that I think are horses that kind of get a gut check in the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, a lot of the similar scenarios in the Fountain of Youth. First of all, out of the 8 horses, 2 of them are entered tomorrow in an allowance race at Gulfstream. That would be number 4, McClellan, and number 5, Solid Left. So that field could reduce a little bit. The most accomplished horse, I think, would be Sovereignty, coming off a 2-turn win at Churchill Downs in November in the street sense. But he's another horse. He got a little sick in the wintertime. He missed some time. And he's coming into this comeback, his 3-year-old debut, off of just really 4 works and 4 slow half miles. You got to think maybe he needs this race before he shows his best. And he comes from off the pace and a mile and 16th at Gulfstream Park. That's usually not a preferred, kind of style of racing. Burnham Square comes off a nice win in the Holy Bull. Yeah. And he's going to get better with racing. He's probably the one to beat. But River Thames is the one to catch for Todd Pletcher. He comes off of 2 wins around 1 turn, the last of 1-turn mile. Now, he's by McLean's Music, so I don't know how far he wants to run, but he's going to be the one they have to catch there in the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race, that's for sure. And, of course, at Aqueduct in the Gotham also has points for the Kentucky Derby future, the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. And you got a full field of 10 going there. It's nice to see 10 horses in a race like this, especially when you got 2 other races on the day and 2 other racetracks that also have 50 points for the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. But these are all mostly based in New York, and it looks like a wide-open card to me.
It is, and to me, this is the least impactful as far as the 3-year-old preps, only because it's a 1-turn mile, Ralph, and that doesn't really translate to a 2-turn mile and a quarter race at Churchill. But as far as these horses go, you've got a couple of shippers coming in. Rick Dutrow has number 8, McAfee, in this race, who comes off of 2 wins in November at Churchill Downs, so we know he likes that track. He has won at a 1-turn mile, and he's having a good meet at Aqueduct. And you've got the Juddmonte horse, Garamud, number 9 on the program, comes off an easy win at Tampa Bay for Chad Brown, who shows off a lot of horses at Tampa and then gets them serious at other places. So we'll see where he stacks up. The local horse is the New York bred Sand Devil, and he's been terrific around 1 turn. He just missed against New York breds in the the Damon Runyon? I think it was the 7 furlongs.
Yeah.
And a 1-turn mile is going to be good for him. The only 1-turn mile he won by double digits that he ran in. So he's probably the one to catch. A lot of these horses getting started, but we'll have to watch the race to see if there's going to have any impact on the Triple Crown.
Yeah, and that is, of course, one of the preps for the Wood Memorial, which is the major prep in New York, anyhow, for the Kentucky Derby. And then taking a look at the Kentucky Oaks fields, really the only one that kind of intrigues me out of all of them will be on Sunday, the Santa Isabel at Santa Anita, where Maysam, Bob Baffert's trainee, Juan Hernandez is going to ride. Maysam will be probably the favorite in a 6-horse field. This one only ran 2 weeks ago in the Sunland Oaks, and as you remember, just failed as the big 1-9 favorite, but she had excuses in that race.
Oh, everything went wrong in the race at Sunland Park. She was in trouble from start to finish, and just racked up down the backside, and then finally they just said no moss, turning around the far turn. she'll run a lot better race. The other filly that Baffert has in there that's probably the main contender is Cipriani. She has 2-turn experience. She ran well on the stretch out at Santa Anita. She's been locally based the whole time. Mike Smith gets him out for Bob Baffert there. And the rest are kind of a mixed bag. Super Speed gets Flavian Prat for John Sadler, but she's been a turf filly so far. We'll have to see if she can transfer her form to the dirt. And she's kind of a flighty filly. She's been a bad gate horse, often gets really fractious in the gate. So she's been a work in progress, but the ability is there. We'll just have to see where she is mentally.
And, John, of course, the big Capri renews on Saturday as well at Santa Anita, a race that you and I have fond memories for because it used to be the premier handicap race of the year at one time and has a rich history in it. It may not have the quality of past Santa Anita handicaps, but it's got quantity. They got a full field there.
Yeah, it's a good field. It's a field of 9. And in general, the local older handicap horses are a little bit soft. So it's a good spot for the shippers. And we have 2 of them in there. You have Locht, who ran super in the Pegasus World Cup.
Yeah.
He missed the break, and he was in post 11. And that's really tough there at Gulfstream Park. I thought he ran great to run second. He's going to add blinkers. So that'll be interesting. And the 1.25 miles, I wasn't sure he's going to be this kind of horse, but based off that 1.125 run, I think he'll get the distance.
Yeah.
And then the other horse coming in is Brad Cox, the hit show. Brad Cox has a good record shipping horses into California, and this is a real hard-knocking horse, and there's some speed in this race, and that'll set in. He's kind of a one-pace grinder. The race sets up well for that style. So they're the shippers you have to worry about. As far as the local horses, Express Train won the Big Cap in 2022. He's been kind of working his way back into shape. He's an 8-year-old now, but I think he's sitting on a good race. I don't know if it's going to be good enough. And then you have Doug O'Neill has JB Strikes Back off a wire-to-wire win opening day in the Lafitte Penkai Junior Stakes. And Katona beat Express Train last time. So those are the 3 main players from California. But to me, there are a couple of horses coming in from the East Coast.
Well, and don't forget, Bob Baffert has a horse in that race, New King. I don't know how that one figures, but it's Baffert, and you never know. Hey, John, I want to thank you so much for doing a little overview on all these races. I know you guys haven't got to handicapping those races yet, but when you do, we'll get them here on the Race Day Show, and certainly the Linda Report here at the Gold Coast race. I'm sorry, the Gold Coast, a long time ago for that one. The South Point Racebook here, we're here at the South Point. But in any case, you don't have a pick for us today.
Look at something on grass at Gulfstream, and when it rained off, I said, okay, we're just going to wait for tomorrow. I do have a sheet for Gulfstream Park tomorrow. And one of the reasons I'm protecting that grass course, Ralph, they've got that big Fountain of Youth Day with, I think, 7 grass races. We're going to be extra careful going into this weekend.
Yeah, they're trying to keep that as pristine as possible for the big races over the weekend. Well, you did a great job for us in an overview of those races. And we'll wait for that Linda Report and a pick for tomorrow. Thanks a lot, John, for being with us. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Ralph. Good luck today.
All right, you got it, my man. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to Rich Eng is standing by. And, of course, we got Dwayne Carlucci yet to go. So don't go away. We're just getting started on this Wednesday Race Day Show. Don't go away.
Here we are in Houston, opening up our first veteran village. This beautiful building that's going to house 161 homeless veterans. Any veteran that risks their lives and they're struggling with PTSD, mental illness, addiction. We're also building what I call comfort homes, 500 square foot homes. These are for older homeless veterans, so they have their own space and give them back some of their dignity, some of their independence, and most certainly give them back their life. Go to T2T.org to learn how you can change a veteran's life forever.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Time to go out to Rich Eng standing by. Richie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. Good morning, viewers, and good morning, listeners.
Well, it's going to be a fun weekend this weekend for all the Derby and Oaks prep races at both in California, in Florida, and in New York. And, of course, the big cap at Santa Anita. We were going over that with John Lindo. But I got to tell you, we're getting close to the end of February. When we flip the page, it means March Madness, and we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the college basketball season. And, of course, all of the tournaments, the conference tournaments that will be happening earlier before they set the field for the national championship. The NBA championship tournament. And I know that you've been working hard, but I got to tell you, some of the top teams that are ranked right now, a couple of them had a hard time yesterday, huh?
Yeah, some of these battles in conference, the teams know each other so well because they play twice a year, home and away. And so you get some great rivalries, Ralph. And, there's so many teams that are on the bubble that really need to finish strong just to get into the 68 field tournament. It's no longer 64 because now they have play-in games that they play like on Tuesday and Wednesday to get into the bottom seeds. But one thing I wanted to cover real quick, the teams that I have in my pocket, Joe Lunardi of ESPN does bracketology. He updates it every Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And I took a look at the teams that I have and where he has them seeded right now. I have Michigan State. He has as a 2 seed. Iowa State is a 2 seed. St. John's is a 4 seed. Oregon is a 5 seed, and Ole Miss is a 7 seed. So, first of all, I'm happy that all the teams look pretty set for making the field. And 2 is I hope when they eventually draw that Super Sunday for the seedings that they all get spread out in the 4 divisions.
Well, let's hope for that. But we got some conference play, of course, to go since then. It's going to be fun to watch college basketball. Always is in March. And, of course, between you here on the Race Day Show and our friends at Sports by the Book, that happens Monday through Fridays at 10 a.m. right here, where we're streaming now, Saturdays 8:30 and Sunday at 9 a.m. Between all of you guys, we're expecting to have a very good March Madness, that's for sure. Hey, you got a horse pick for us today?
Yeah, yes, I do. And I heard you and John talking about the fact that the races at Gulfstream are off the grass. But even though my pick is on the grass in the 9th race at Gulfstream, I'm going to stay with it because when they take the races off the grass at Gulfstream, they almost always switch them to the Tapeta surface, which is fine by me for this horse. The 9th race is a mile scheduled for grass, but if they switch it to Tapeta, that's okay. Horse I like is number 8, Khathib. This horse, if you take a look at the resume of this horse on the Daily Racing Form, broke his maiden at Turfway Park on Tapeta. So I think Brendan Walsh, if they do make the switch, will keep this horse in the race rather than scratch. Tyler Gaffalione, no problem with that. Let's go with the 8, Khathib, in the 9th race.
9th and final race, number 8, Khathib, on whatever they run on. The 8, Khathib, in the 9th at Gulfstream is Richie's pick. And, of course, Richie will be back with us tomorrow as well. Hey, thanks a lot, Rich.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Good luck, everybody.
All righty, you got it, my man. Now let's go out to the Rampart where Mr. Dwayne Carlucci is standing by. Dwayne, you got to be salivating with all of the great races coming up this weekend, my man.
You know me, Ralph. I'm definitely loving it. I'm geared up. We're all geared up at the Rampart, and we're excited. It's the road to the Derby now, March Madness, the Kentucky Derby. 2 biggest events upcoming in the race and sportsbook industry.
Yeah, no question about that. And what races of all the races this weekend are you really looking forward to because of maybe a horse or 2 in the race that you really want to see?
Well, definitely the Fountain of Youth is going to hold a lot of, weight, in my opinion. We're looking at 2 class horses. Everybody was looking at Burnham Square after that amazing Holy Bull performance. And definitely it's going to be, interesting to see if this horse could get the distance, that classic distance of the Kentucky Derby. And you also have Sovereignty returning there. And that was a huge, huge run everybody saw the last time. Bill Mott, Junior Alvarado. This horse hasn't been, very lightly raced, Ralph. So we got to keep our eye as we get closer to the Kentucky Derby, whose preps are most impressive. We had a few setbacks for horses that have won the Kentucky Derby preps, but we also still have the whole Bob Baffert contingency. Connecticut Road looked really good last week, so it's going to be important to see how Sovereignty reacts, and this is definitely going to be a key leading into the Florida Derby.
Well, he's owned by the Dolphin folks, so you know that he's a well-bred horse. Sovereignty is, that's for sure. And it seems like, Dwayne, no matter every year it happens where some of the really neat contenders early in the game turn out to even not make the starting gate on the first Saturday in May.
Yeah, it's a shame. That's the tough part of the game. But, when you have such explosive runs, sometimes you just can't carry that weight and, and keep going into that short stretch into the Kentucky Derby, which, it seems like a long time, Ralph, between January and the first Saturday in May, but it really is not. And, you have to be in tip-top condition, especially to be a Triple Crown winner. And, it's definitely going to be a difficult road now with some of these defections. The race is still wide open. We've yet to see what Bonds could do this weekend. And Journalism, that's another huge race out at Santa Anita.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like Journalism a little there, Ralph. I think he's already, been proven, whereas Bonds, he could get the sprint job done. Let's see him go the distance.
Well, that is it. When we look at the San Felipe, it's probably the shortest out of all of the prep race for Derby and Oaks this weekend. Of course, the Santa Isabel on Sunday also has 6. So there's 6 in each of the prep Derby and Oaks prep races at Santa Anita this weekend. But of the 6 in the San Felipe, Bob Baffert's got the thing surrounded with 3 of them. And I guess we know that they're not going to go out and commit suicide against each other and have to come back and hear the wrath of Baffert. But, it's going to be interesting to see, that's for sure. And I wouldn't leave Rodriguez out of it.
Yeah, no, he's monstrous. I tell you, they upped his buyer. I seen also recently they had to reevaluate that prep race, his last race, and he's definitely a top-notch contender as well. Bob has the deck stacked. I mean, even you saw, like I said, Connecticut Road, who wasn't one of his top contenders, was able to dig in and contend and really, ran very well over there at Oaklawn over the past weekend. So it's going to be exciting, and Bob is back in the picture. So yeah, they're not going to kill each other, that, and Rodriguez has an excellent chance. Like I said, I like Journalism, but very slightly. When Bob has 3 horses, Ralph, what do? It's like you said, he's got half the field.
Well, we know one thing: if Journalism gets there, you got to use Baffert in the exacta and the trifectas. That's for sure. In any case, he unleashed Cornucopian over the weekend at Oaklawn Park. Now, it's only 2 months, really, 2 months left to the Kentucky Derby. But the way this horse ran in that race at Oaklawn Park, you got to think that Baffert's thinking maybe the next start might be in a stakes race somewhere.
I would definitely put him in a top race. I'll be honest with you. I might even go to New York for the Wood. Who knows? Definitely the sky's the limit there. We have several prep races left. You don't want to cut it too close. I don't like the Bluegrass necessarily as a prep, but he definitely has a lot of options. And there's plenty of time, I think, until the Wood to get this horse ready. Mm-hmm. So that might be an option. And definitely there's a few more races at Fairgrounds and Oaklawn, like you said. And you have the Florida Derby at Gulfstream. So sky's the limit for Bob. I mean, It's just tremendous to see what he does with the 2- and 3-year-olds. And, he is the master. We know that.
And we know that there's plenty of Kentucky Derby prep races left, and a lot of them towards the end, it'll be 100 points to get into the Kentucky Derby. But it seems like Baffert's got more 3-year-olds than 3-year-old races left to qualify some of these horses. But we'll wait and see how that works out. That is a pleasant dilemma for him to have, no doubt about that. Dwayne, I know you're a racing fan, and I know that when the big cap comes around, which is always the first weekend in March, that race has such a big, rich history to it. I mean, it is a who's who of past great thoroughbreds that have ran in and won the Santa Anita Handicap that you must have a thought or two about that race.
Well, just a tremendous race. I mean, we've seen so many greats that have won that race. I think we even go back to Seabiscuit. I mean, it's just a tremendous stepping stone, and it's lost a little luster, but that's part of the game. We're looking at this year's field, top to the bottom. It's very strong. I mean, you have New King there. You have Hit Shows coming off a tremendous win in the
Yeah.
mud at Louisiana, in the Louisiana Stakes, I should say.
Mhm.
That was tremendous. I mean, if you look at that race, the horse was 10 wide and really grinded out a real nice victory. So I think that horse definitely has tremendous upside. Miramati beat me the last time, Ralph. He just went wire to wire in that. I didn't think he could do it, but, he just dominated that optional allowance last race. And, it kind of had me scratching my head. I didn't use him there. You have Locke, Pletcher. Jose Ortiz is having a tremendous year. You look at what he's been doing at Fairgrounds. It's just phenomenal. So, even though you don't have that superstar White Barrio or, a horse of that caliber or a Forever Young, this is still a tremendous race. And always Santa Anita is, just a great facility. We have to keep this going, Ralph. I love Santa Anita so much. I always feel that that's the best facility to hold a Breeders' Cup in the United States. I love Belmont as well, but we'll see what they put the new spin on Belmont. I mean, it's supposed to be as good as Maidan, and maybe they could get some Breeders' Cup back. But for the size and for the, being comfortable, Santa Anita is the place, and the Santa Anita handicap is part of that. The big cap, it's just a tremendous race. So many memories, and it's just going to be a great race this weekend as well.
And another thing is, as well, you're talking about Jose Ortiz. He had a big day at Oaklawn Park. He had 4 wins at Oaklawn Park as well. So the guy is, as long as he stays away from the same jockey colony as his brother, these two are chopping it up pretty good. That's for sure. Dwayne, I know you gave us winners usually on Wednesday, so you got a winner for us today?
Yeah, John and I gave out the exact, I think, last week. He beat me, actually, by an inch there, Ralph. I was a little upset. But, yeah, we're going to go again. We're going to go again with we're going to box in exacta here in the second race at Turfway. You know me, I'm repetitious. I love David Jacobson and what he's doing once again with his stable. He's just doing a phenomenal job. He has horses at Oaklawn. He has horses at Turfway. And this horse, the 9-horse Independent Paul, he has a win already at Turfway. He's with Saiz again, and I definitely like his chances. We're going to box him up with Tony O, Bill Morey, another top-notch conditioner over at Turfway. I think, though, Jacobson will get the better of it. Independence Paul, number 9, in the second race, I should say. I believe 5-1 morning line there, Ralph.
All right, so you got the 9 Independent Paul, and you're boxing them with who? Again, tell him.
The 4-horse, Tony O. The 4-horse, that's Bill Morey's horse.
All right, so we got a 4-9-9-4 exacta box in the second race at Turfway Park for Mr. Colucci. And, of course, you do some great things out there at the Rampart. I know you guys love horse players out there as well as we do here at the South Point. So when you're in that area, you got to stop by and say hi to Dwayne. Tell him you saw him on the show. Dwayne, you're doing a great job there at the Rampart. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ralph. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right, you got it. Before we get to Mr. Jerry Jackowitz for a final word on a betting strategy from him, I'm going to give you quickly Jonathan Hardoon's picks. Now, go to Gulfstream Park, and at Gulfstream Park, remember, the 5th race on the turf, but Jonathan says that now that it's been taken off the turf and on the main track, he still likes this horse. This is still his pick. So in the 5th race, he likes the 8 Oxar. The 8 Oxar is Jonathan Hardoon's pick in the 5th race at Gulfstream Park. And then you go to Tampa Bay Downs for his other pick. And at Tampa Bay Downs, his other pick comes in a race that was on the main track anyhow. So it doesn't matter about taking off the turf there. In the 8th race at Tampa Bay, he likes the 4 Mystic Loot. Number 4, Mystic Loot. In the 8th race at Tampa Bay is Jonathan Hardoon's pick there. He has full sheets for both Tampa Bay and Gulfstream Park at his website. And Jonathan will be back with us tomorrow. Now we're going to go out to Jerry Jackowitz for a couple of minutes of wise thoughts about betting. Jerry, good morning.
So here's my question for today, Ralph.
Yes.
You've watched Irad and Jose ride.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why one is better than the other.
Well, I honestly can tell you that I don't think one is better than the other. I think it's you gotta have the horse flesh to begin with, and so I would not have a problem betting either one of them. But I think you might have an answer to that.
Well, my answer is the horse in price. And you're right. I mean, as our old friend Patrick used to say, Ralph, it's not jockey racing, it's horse racing. And we bet on horses. So the difference between one jockey and another can be infinitesimal, where one can be such a successful guy on the circuit, the other guy can look like he doesn't know how to ride a horse at all, and yet they can be almost identical watching them ride around the track. It's hard to know what makes one jockey a more prolific winner than another, for the most part. There's very few Jerry Baileys that you come across in your lifetime, or Fernando, or any of the other great jockeys that just dominate. There's very few Lafitte's. There's very few Jerry Baileys.
Well,
they
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just.
So
complete your thought.
Go ahead.
Complete your thought, please.
My thinking is that it's all in the horse, and you do see some of that from the agent. The agent has a factor in it.
Sure, it does. I will say that they say that most of the time, 95% of victories and defeats holds within the horse. The jockey only contributes 5%. But if all horses are equal, the 5% the jockey contributes makes 100% difference at the wire. Remember that.
Okay, well, remember this. Now, there's a flaw in that thinking. That's really not good, because if they're all equal, then the only thing that matters is price. And if you bet a horse,
that's right. That's right. As far as I'm talking about the competition. We were talking about the jockeys, etc.
Right. But if you can see that before the race, then the only thing that matters is price.
Yeah, and from the betting standpoint, you're right. But from the rider standpoint, well, it's always a matter for debate. But we can continue to debate that. That's okay. In the meantime, you got one more thing to say, Jerry. You're going to say it.
Have a great race day, everybody.